I'd like to thank Dr. Pepper, Brazzers, and Apple.
You're not gonna believe what I had before this.
What?
A Dr. Pepper. Okay. Well, welcome everybody to the first YDSA-UW Madison podcast.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
I am Ian,
I'm Cameron.
and we are two idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're pretty fucking stupid. And
Yeah.
we're going to be making a podcast about YDSA here at UW Madison.
Hopefully, you will have more interesting people in the future, but unfortunately for your first one, you're stuck with us. So.
Yeah. We have
Alright.
big plans that don't involve our faces, but
The big plans are to get rid of us. That's
Yeah,
the only
that's-
plan.
to offload the work.
Anyway, so the structure for this podcast, at least for this first one, is we'll start by introducing probably YDSA just a little bit, and then we'll get into a news story that each of us has come pre-prepared and the other one does not know about, and then we'll get into a socialist topic.
I'm excited. I'm very excited.
That also neither of us has any prior knowledge of what the other person came with. And then finally, we will end with our great producer, Emerson, giving us a little bit more of a fun topic to talk about at the end. So without further ado, Cameron, would you like to talk about what YDSA is real quick?
Yeah, so YDSA is the youth wing of DSA, which is the Democratic Socialists of America. It is a left-wing organization that is dedicated to a number of causes, including workers' rights and recently Palestine and Palestine advocacy. Essentially, it is like a Democratic Party, but actually on the political left, and a lot of emphasis on that democracy and Democrat part. We are very, very into voting. Voting is in, it's sexy. And we love to do it.
I would say voting is probably the thing we do the most over anything else.
100%. Yeah.
We vote on how to vote. We vote on if we should have a vote. And sometimes we just vote for fun, honestly.
Sometimes we vote on things that are definitely not getting passed for shiz and gigs.
Yeah. The Peter Griffin YDSA is on
That
the way.
was-
We'll get there one day.
Hopefully. Well, we'll have to re-vote on it. It'll be a constitutional
I don't know.
change.
Last time I voted no. Maybe you guys will convince me
I'll-
differently.
I'll get it on your good side. All right.
Okay. So yeah, I think you covered that pretty well. So I think we should get into the news.
Sure.
So Cameron, what news topic did you come with today?
Well, so recently you may have heard, and I'm very invested in this, Javier Milei. What do you know about Javier Milei?
You know what? This is actually a news story that I do not have a ton of knowledge about. I know who he is, obviously, but I'm really excited for this.
So I'm just pulling up the article right now, but so essentially a few days ago, Javier Milei, the president of Argentina, he is he's like the libertarian to end all libertarians. And what he did recently is he, along with a number of very young crypto individuals, promoted a crypto coin, and then once after it skyrocketed in value, it almost instantly fell. And it is, what is the title of this meme coin here? Libra. And it like crashed and lost a ton of money for everybody involved. So it reached a market value of about $4 billion. And then a few hours afterwards, it just crashed because of all the holders pulled out almost immediately. And then Milei didn't say anything, and this happened at about 9 p.m. He didn't say anything till around midnight, and it was like fucking chaos. No one knew what was going on. He's being now, I believe he's being impeached by the opposition for basically scamming the Argentinian public. Though he maintains that not many Argentinians were affected by this. This is mostly a more American market that got fucked over, which I like low key believe because Americans are dumb as fuck, and there's no shot they didn't all get in on this.
It's really funny to me that his argument isn't, no, I didn't do this. His argument is, it didn't hurt Argentinians.
Well, yeah, because it's like you can't deny that it happened, because like we all just saw it happen, and you like fucking deleted your tweet that was promoting it and talking about how great it was, and then you said, well, it's not us, it doesn't matter, which is like the most libertarian thing ever, because if you can't say it doesn't exist, and you can't say nobody got hurt, you have to just basically go, well, it's a casino, and you fucking lost. Because you're libertarian. That's, like, your whole platform.
Yeah. I mean, crypto in general just seems like the libertarian oasis.
Oh, it's like a dreamscape. It's like there's no regulation anywhere because of how new it is, and because people like Obama basically made it, like, super, super, like, a free space because it's, like, online and shit. And also, it's, like, essentially gambling. Like, you're like, oh, I gotta stay. I'm staying. Fuck! I stayed too long. I should have sold. It's like the stock market, but, like, no predictability.
Man, I do have one question. Do you know, did he create it before or after Trump's coin?
So, he didn't create it.
Okay.
He partnered with a number of crypto guys that he met, I believe, at a convention or some sort of, like, event. And they like basically talked him into supporting it. I believe it happened I believe this was invented after Trump Coin, or at least it was launched certainly after Trump Coin. I don't know how it was in the works for. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I know for certain it is happening after Trump Coin. Like this is like 2 or 3 days ago max.
Okay. And then I haven't actually paid attention to the Trump coin. Did they rug pulled it, didn't they?
They rug pulled the Melania coin. I believe I think it was the same people that did Melania coin that did this. I'm not sure about that, but I'm pretty sure it was, and that would be fucking hilarious.
Bro. And I feel like in our new capitalist hellscape, you either have to do a rug pull to make money or a podcast. And we chose a podcast.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's only 2 options, really.
The crypto rug pull's on the way, though.
I'm not going to be like a fucking techno surf. I want to be the fucking landowner.
No, but that's nuts to me that we have at least 2 presidents of a country that are doing crypto rug pulls.
I know, it's awesome. Well, it's like the 2 most right-wing presidents, too. Because it's like... If you're on the right, after you're done fucking, like, skimming the government and shit like Milei has done, you're like, the next logical step is like, fuck it, it'll make money somehow. There's got to be somebody scamming at every moment.
Bro, it is so crazy, too, because, like, it feels like every YouTuber in the world has already done this, and then a bunch of presidents were like, what if we just copied them?
Like, holy shit, Logan Paul did this? It's gotta work.
Bro, the Hawk Tuah girl? No way. Oh my god. But man, so wait, because I don't know enough about what the Congress looks like in Argentina. Does the opposition have the majority?
I don't think so. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not like into Argentinian politics. I just was kind of preying on Milei's downfall. So that's all. I don't like no shade towards the Argentinian people, but like I was low-key preying on his downfall because I hate him. He just seems so fucking annoying.
Honestly, I'm almost surprised that instead of doing a rug pull, they didn't just make it the currency of Argentina.
That's what I thought. Like, legitimately, that could have happened.
Yeah. What country was it? It was in Central America. I don't want to say it because if I get it wrong, I feel like I want to say it was either Nicaragua or Guatemala that, like, they went from the U.S. dollar to Bitcoin. Or something like
I
that.
remember that.
They might have switched back because they realized, oh wait, this isn't actually a good idea. But I forget.
Salvador. It was El Salvador.
El Salvador. Okay,
Thank
El Salvador.
you.
Wow. I chose 2 countries in Central America. Neither were right.
I was feeling like it was El Salvador. I don't want to say it, though.
Do they still have crypto as there, or did they switch back? Because it'd be really funny if they still
awesome.
do.
It'd be really awesome.
I mean, they'd be doing amazing right now. Can you imagine?
They should have gotten in early on this and then immediately sold. They should have rug pulled. The country of El Salvador has to do a rug pull. I think it'd be awesome.
Of the whole world.
Yeah, like just get like a bunch of Danish dudes to invest and then just be like, oh, dude. Oh, sorry. We were going to tell you we were all pulling out.
Can you imagine El Salvador is the richest country in the world
because they fucking rug pull? What if they
Rug
I
pull?
think you could convincingly rug pull Donald Trump with like get him to invest, like get the Treasury of State to like or Treasury of the what do you call him? The Treasurer. United States Treasurer.
The
I'm dumb as
treasurer.
fuck. Treasurer of the blank. Yeah, I think you could get Donald Trump to make the treasurer like invest in a meme coin and then rug pull the entire United States government.
I mean, at this point, they don't even need the treasurer because they'll just have Elon Musk and his Doge gremlins
Oh,
walk
yeah,
in
yeah.
and take the money and invest it themselves at this point.
That one guy that they fired and then immediately unfired. Or I guess he quit and then they rehired. They're like, no, you can't quit.
They're like,
If you quit now, you're gonna look like a massive racist and a loser.
It is really funny that they went out of their way to bring back the racists.
They're like, no, we can't. Oh, damn it. We need you. Not for your skill, because we're all incompetent, but because we really need those racism points.
Wow. Well, yeah, I guess, is there anything more you want to talk about that story?
No, that was my news story. That was my... Finally, Milei takes the L we all knew he was going to take.
Well, I think we could all keep praying on his continued downfall.
Not for the downfall of the Argentinian people, nor the
No.
Argentinian economy, but him in particular.
It would be nice if he could leave without the entire economy.
Because I think he was at CPAC too, like really recently. I
Oh.
think he might have given Elon Musk a chainsaw on stage, which is so, dude. Oh my god, I don't want to like infringe upon more news, but the Elon Musk "I am become" meme. Oh my god, dude! I was like cringing when I saw that. I was in Derath, and I like physically tensed up when I saw. I was like, oh, bro. Like emotionally, I don't think I could have handled that if I was there in person.
Yeah. Well, in that case, should we move on?
Yeah,
to...
you can share your news story.
Yeah, I'm gonna need someone's either computer
I
or,
can, yeah. Do you
or
want me
phone
to?
for this. Unfortunately, we're recording on my phone right now. So
Yeah, here, just take
Yeah.
this bad boy, and you can go full screen if you'd like.
Okay.
Don't check the tabs though, because that's my topic, and I don't want to fuck that
Okay.
up.
Can I here wait. I texted you on my phone the notes that I had for this, but I am gonna pull it up.
Yeah,
The photo, and then I can show it to you. But if you can,
yeah, I can do
quickly
this.
pull that up. I mean, I'm pretty sure the image in and of itself will be enough for you to understand.
Oh.
So,
Here.
so I don't know if you've seen this, but and I'm sure a lot of people have seen this, but the White House posted a photo that made it look like it was a Time magazine cover that says "Long Live the King" and it's Trump over New York.
Yeah.
And this is the only defense that I think they can make of it is that he's just saying he's the king of New York.
I was gonna say, if you want to be super charitable,
yeah, if you want to be
That's
really,
what you
really
do.
charitable, you can say that. But it is at the same time incredibly funny.
Mm-hmm.
And along with that, I remember having a conversation with friends, and someone was like, "Oh, did you see the Time article? Like, people think it was actually
a real
Time
thing?
that did it." Yeah.
Oh, that's
because
fucking
it also
awesome.
makes total sense that Time would put out an article like that too.
that's feasible. We're living in this dystopia.
But yeah, as much as that is there, I want to have a conversation about. So, I want to talk about quickly a quote from Bannon on overwhelming the media from 2018, and then I'll bring it back to talking about this king image.
Yeah, sure.
So Bannon said, "The Democrats don't matter. The real opposition is the media, and the way to deal with them is to flood the zone with shit." So the reason why that's important is something that I think we all have kind of noticed at the start of the Trump administration is there always seems to be something new in the
There's
media,
just-
right?
Like a bombardment, a tsunami of just garbage shit that's happening.
Yeah. And so there are times like these, right, where they put up this time thing on the White House, right? And it's like, "Long live the king," and then the media goes crazy about this image, right? And justifiably. But still, they go absolutely crazy about this, and then it takes up another part of the media cycle that could maybe instead be used about to talk about the actual policy that Trump's doing that's actually hurting people and Americans.
Yeah.
And so I guess my real question is specifically for this, but just in general, stuff around images like this. So is stuff like Trump as a king just like a smokescreen, or should we specifically take stuff like this as seriously as it seems to be being taken? which is that they are almost saying, yes, we are, like, he wants to be a king.
Okay. Potentially, I think this can be used in like a Freudian psychoanalysis kind of way. But I don't think that's necessarily the right move in every situation. So I feel, at least right, like just gut emotional reaction to this, I think people need to start focusing on the actual policy that's happening rather than spectacle like this, because this is just a thing that was posted. Sure, it talks about, or I guess it speaks to, the underlying self-image that Donald Trump has and the kind of image that he portrays himself to his fan base as, but also it is definitely more of a smokescreen, because if you're talking about, oh my God, did you see this cover that Trump posted of like a fake magazine, or even if you think it's real, of this Time magazine or whatever, you're not talking about the cuts he's made, the people he's fired, the fact that, you know, park rangers are out of the job, the fact that you fired a bunch of nuclear engineers or something and then immediately rehired them. There's massive incompetence. The fact that Doge is somewhat maybe illegal. I don't know what statute that's under, or if it's a department or an advisory council, or just Elon shooting his shit with the guys, the racist fellas. But if you're not talking about the real things that are going on and you're talking about this, it definitely kind of takes away from real talking points that you should be paying attention to, the actual tangible things that are going on in the world.
Yeah, because this thing in general, I feel like, is a very hard thing to nail down at this point, since we are still so early into his administration, which is crazy to say that there's still basically
like a month.
Yeah, it's been a month.
Feels
Only
like
a
forever.
month. I know. I feel like the Biden years went quicker than this did, but
True.
But I think it's something that just needs to start to be feeled out, and hopefully we can figure out what the right mix of it is. Because I will say, I don't think stuff like this is necessarily... I don't think it will affect him politically.
No,
because
never.
I think people are used to like this kind of showboating type of stuff that he does. Versus, I feel like when you talk about the actual policies, I think it cuts deeper into the image that he's tried to build for himself.
Yeah.
Which is why I think we should focus on stuff like that. But, I mean, at the same time, I will say images like that do get people angry. And that in and of itself can be really good to get people out there and fighting back against the actual policies that are happening. So, I mean, I know just going to that comment section on that post, the amount of liberals I know that were in that comment section making comments, right? And, I mean, it makes total sense. I mean, it is weird to have the president post an image of themselves on the official White House page being like, long live the king.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's in that weird middle space where, you know, I think they have enough excuses for why they posted it that they can get away with it with, at the very least, their own base.
Sure, sure.
And Republicans in general. Now, I will say I've been pretty happy with how an average of liberals have kind of gotten through the bullshit that Republicans have been trying to spin, and they've been able to, I think, finally see the really fascist authoritarian parts of everything they're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have any answer for this at all. I mostly just think it's interesting to talk about.
Yeah, no, I can see where you're coming from. I'm also torn, I'd say. But it was a good topic to bring up there.
Yeah. I think for time's sake, we should probably move on to your socialist topic that you brought here today.
Fun. So, I am going to be bringing up an individual as well as a specific work that I've been reading. I'm not very far into it, so
Okay.
I will be using the Wikipedia page here. And I'll bring out the literature. We have, sorry, it's in a different language. Black Skin, White Masks by Frantz Fanon.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to give you like a brief rundown of who this guy is.
And preferably in English.
Yeah, this is the English Wikipedia page. Don't worry. So he was a Afro-Caribbean psychiatrist and political philosopher, specifically a Marxist one, from the French colony of Martinique. And a lot of his works are about colonialism and post-colonialism, and talking about kind of analyzing the mind of somebody who has been colonized and is living in a colony, and how violence, as well as to an extent nonviolent means, can be used to overthrow colonial power and exploitation. And a lot of his work, specifically this and his other book, The Wretched of the Earth, have been used in a number of different, more recent movements, including the Black Panther Party, as well as aspects in both Kurdish and Palestinian liberation. So I thought he would be a really cool person to talk about, specifically this book, which talks a lot about the psychology and the feeling of dependence that is fostered by colonial powers in their colonies and in the people of their colonies. Basically, it talks a lot about how through culture and language and social relations, those who are colonialized feel the need to mimic and wear like a white mask to feel superior to those in the colony that don't do so, so that it creates an artificial hierarchy that the colonial power can exploit. So he talks a lot in the first chapter, which I'm currently on. I know, pathetic. About language and how in French colonies, people are kind of told and looked down upon, like they're told off and looked down upon when they speak like Creole French or their or native languages or a less standard French, like not high French, and how that has been used to kind of foster this feeling of inferiority, where the individual who can speak and does speak in perfect French views himself as better than the others around him because of his proximity to whiteness and the European powers, and he kind of gets into how this is psychologically a tool of manipulation that's been used by colonial powers in order to continue exploitation and continuing the stronghold they have over not only the land and the governments of their colonies, but also the minds of the people within.
Wow. I mean, that is incredibly interesting. And I wish I myself had more knowledge on this topic to speak on. But, I mean, the best I can say is from my own knowledge of history, I mean, I know that a lot of the colonial powers would come in and they would at first just try to separate them. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if you look at, I think, a lot of now countries that have now been freed, I think you can even still see maybe that dynamic within the population still to this day.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting exercise in, like, sociology about how this, even persisting afterwards, like, he was alive and wrote on the Algerian Revolution, and you can look at societies like Algeria today, where there's still this kind of lingering feeling of inferiority that has been kind of placed within people through this colonial exploitation and the treatment of people in colonies.
Yeah, and I know, at least specifically for Algeria, they also, of course, if I remember correctly, they had a lot of French people move there to attempt to really, like, I guess, Frenchify.
Yeah, I think I wanna check this, but like Camus' The Stranger.
Yes. Yep.
He's Algerian, right? Or like he's living in Algeria.
At a minimum, they're in Algeria. Yes.
Yeah, he's living in Algeria. That, and even there, he speaks of like the Arab that he kills in that kind of French superiority kind of way, where he's like, this person isn't equal to me, and I think that's fascinating as well.
And I mean, to be fair, that book is already weird.
Oh, I love that book. That book's so strange.
Strange. Wow,
yeah,
look at that.
Yeah, stranger in a strange land.
Yeah, I remember reading that book, and God, I mean, it's already hard enough. But yeah, I don't know. Do you think that part of why almost that character in the book was so easily able to kill an Arab was specifically because of that superiority complex, Or do you think that had more to do with, I guess, Camus'
I'm
point of
more
writing the
inclined
book?
to attribute that to his character's kind of I don't even know what the word I'm looking for here is, kind of existentialist-esque
Yes.
thought process where he does not give a fuck about most things. But I think it might have had an influence on it, and I think it definitely was thought about when Camus was writing. I don't know if it's the central reason, but I'm sure Camus had that in the back of his mind when he was writing it.
So going back to the book
Yeah.
that you were talking about, when was it written?
I believe this was written in 1952. Yeah,
Okay.
1952. And so it wasn't actually the biggest hit in the mainstream when it first came out. It took a while, especially after The Wretched of the Earth came out. And they're kind of together they kind of form a more cohesive narrative, because this is talking more about the psychology of the colonized person, and then the Wretched of the Earth is his much more, I think, famous and poignant work, because it talks about the use of violence in overthrowing the oppressor, and it makes a very clear distinction between the violence used by and against the oppressor, and how violence is a reasonable means that can be used to bring about the end of colonialism, and that's where a lot of the reasoning of parties like the Black Panther Party or liberation movements like the Kurdish and Palestinian movements kind of grow out of, I guess. And I think that this book is kind of the basic, base upon which that the Wretched of the Earth kind of grows out of, and the reasoning for it can be used.
So, are you gonna try to then, after you finish the book, read the next one too?
At some point, yeah, I'd like
Yeah.
to. I have a number of books I want to read that are. I want to read Baudelaire and stuff too. But
We all have a number of
I
books.
want to read some
that
other
we wanna-
authors. But
we all have
yeah,
a number of books we want to read. Just today, I got 2 different books that I'm like, oh, this sounds really interesting. I'm gonna read it, and I just know it's.
no,
just
it's
gonna
never
sit-
happening. I have
Yeah.
8 books just sitting on my shelf. I have the motorcycle diaries just
Yep.
sitting there, and I have this new interpretations of Marxism kind of stuff on there, and it's never getting read.
Bro, what'll always happen is I'll start a book, I'll read the first chapter, and then not pick it up for 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
and then one day I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna read it, and then I just read it all.
Yeah,
in,
you.
a
I
day.
ought to finish this.
Yeah, you don't read for a year, and then all of a sudden you read
You're wait a minute, this exists.
yeah, hundreds of pages in
Yeah.
3 hours
Uh-huh.
or something. Yeah, it's a weird dynamic.
It is.
Okay.
That's pretty much all I got. Would you like to move on to your topic?
Yes. I think I'm gonna.
Yeah,
I'll need the notes again.
You can steal
And,
the notes once more.
Okay. So, we'll try to get through this decently quick so that we have time for our end fun time
Yeah.
with Emerson. So excited. Either way. So the thing that I brought today was earlier today, I was reading an article on Medium, which is the best way to explain this website if you don't know what it is it's like a fancy blog.
Okay.
So they just kind of allow anyone to write on there, which I guess in that case it's a very free journalism, like anyone can do.
Sure,
journalism.
sure.
But there you go. Well, this is not a thing about Medium, but just bring that up. But someone on there had written a piece called "Capitalism Owes Its Success to Marketing."
Okay.
And the subtitle of it was, "Turns out it's a system ordained by advertising slogans, not God." And some examples that were given in that piece, of course, were, bootstraps, which we all know about that, the death tax, and referring to estate tax and how Republicans kind of said death tax to get more people on their side,
Mm-hmm.
trickle-down economics,
Ooh, I love that
and the classic free market.
Yeah. Okay.
And we could discuss all those terms, but I think what I want to talk about really is just that overall point, which is that I think, in my mind, I think a lot of this, to have success in a capitalist market, what you have to do is to be a good marketer. It's not necessarily that you have to be the smartest or or the most talented
Yeah.
or the hardest worker. It's just that you market yourself really well. I mean, you can look at Elon Musk. He's an idiot, but the one thing he does know is how to market himself. You can see that in how, I believe it was Tesla, where when he bought into the company, which no one talks about because he doesn't market himself that way, he bought into Tesla, he kicked out the former owners, and then made sure in the like final agreement in kicking them out that he got to say he was a co-founder. He like
That's
made
hysterical.
sure that he got that. And that's because out of everything, he's a good marketer. And I think that you can see that also with a Jeff Bezos, even a Bill Gates. Like a Bill Gates, I think you can still give, right? Like he did work somewhat on those laptops. But nowadays, I mean, Microsoft, he's not doing much with that. I mean, almost
No.
everything afterwards when it came to Microsoft was the people he paid to do the work.
Yeah.
But because he's marketing himself as this genius CEO, that's how people think of him. And I think that's how people think of Elon Musk. And I also was thinking about how, you know, capitalism itself markets, basically it markets itself as, you know, free. It is almost equal to freedom is how it equates itself. And how at the same time it also says it is the opposite of socialism. So then if capitalism equals freedom, socialism must equal, right, not freedom.
Sure.
Tyranny, authoritarianism. And so I think it's an interesting concept to think about, which is that, I don't know, in my mind, I almost feel like almost everything can be taken down to how well you market yourself, even when it comes to political ideologies.
Yeah.
And the example that I'd really want to talk about is how America kind of markets itself to the world. Like, if you think about it, like, we can both at the same time be this, you know, bastion of freedom, this great, you know, what's the word? I guess, like, you know, this great bastion on top of the hill of freedom, and everyone looks to us and everyone thinks, oh, you know, the American dream and all that.
Sure.
Well, at the same time, we have the biggest military in the world. We have all this poverty, all this homelessness, and both exist at the same time. And so I feel like as a socialist, I think some issues can arise where, you know, I don't think socialists are necessarily the greatest marketers of ourselves.
I would agree.
And I think in the US, marketing is very important. And so I think what we need to do better in the future is work on how we market ourselves. And that's my overall point. I know that was a lot of different points altogether.
Yeah.
But I think my overall point is to say that capitalism and capitalists do a really good job of marketing themselves. And I think, you know, there's a saying, and it's a dark saying, but it's that, you know, the capitalists will sell us the rope that we hang them by, right?
Yeah.
And I think the overall point of that quote is that capitalism in and of itself gives you the reins to overthrow it. And I think you see that with Marx, where they talk about, you know, the system is built up to eventually lead to the overthrow of capitalism. And so I think in our modern hyper-capitalist age, I think the technique is that you just have to get good at marketing. And that's my thought. And I just want to know what your thoughts on stuff like that is.
Yeah. I would 100% agree. And I like what you brought up about Musk and Bezos and stuff, where essentially they market themselves as super geniuses, as, you know, these, I guess, kind of Renaissance men, modern Renaissance men, where they, you know, Jeff Bezos works out and looks good and also is a tech genius, and Elon Musk is the world's greatest Diablo player. And I watched a video recently by Adam Conover, formerly the host of Adam Ruins Everything.
Yep, the GOAT.
The GOAT. And he was talking about how these people put on these facades of basically attempting to appear more masculine, to kind of fulfill the role of a masculine individual and perform masculinity because of how fragile they feel, as many men do, in America today. And I feel like capitalism lends itself so well to that because you can build yourself up as a character rather than as an individual or like with a product. You can build your character up or like your person, like I guess what am I trying to get at here? Your like your stage persona up, where you can become the guy who people remember for being, at least in Elon's reckoning, the meme guy who does, he's the Doge guy, and he does memes, and he's funny, and he does all, but I mean, he's not, but he attempts to create this persona of the meme guy. And a lot of this is about how they market themselves to the base. Elon's big switch with the dark gothic MAGA, and all of this is an attempt to better market himself in an economy, in like a culture war economy that's shifting away from the tech CEO who's inclusive to the tech CEO who is hyper traditional manly individual. And I really appreciate that you brought this up because I was just thinking about it before I came here.
Yeah, I think you actually brought up a really great point, which is the tech CEOs. There has really been that transformation. Like originally, when tech CEOs really got going, a lot of it was very, I guess, almost like, right, Libby, right?
Yeah.
And then over time, there's been like this movement of their marketing to get more traditionalist and more conservative.
I think that is a combined, that's due to the combined efforts of capitalism and culture, because the original idea of having like these open workspaces where people from all backgrounds can work together to improve technology was to attract people to a into the tech industry, into Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley back in the day, you think of like weird new offices with beanbag chairs and a froyo machine. That's like the millennial kind of ideal. And then recently, as you know, it becomes less profitable to continue doing what you're doing because capitalism is kind of dependent on never-ending growth, and that just can't happen. People have started to make cuts, so you don't have your frozen yogurt machine, you don't have your beanbag chair. You just transition more and more. And this is why you can't work at home anymore, because people need to have this kind of like Foucaultian control over everything you do. And as the culture shifted with that, it was used as a justification to getting back into the traditional workplace. Because not only was it beneficial for capital, it was then something that the capitalist saw in the media as something a right wing like a Jussie Waters pushes, and they mimic that.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I also think the way one markets itself almost allows them to be horrible while not fully ruining their public image.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just look at the way, right, that, like, look at Trump. The way he marketed himself was as this outsider. Yet when he does insider things, people don't see it that way.
Yeah.
They see it as an outsider.
Yeah. He became president, took over the government, and is still an outsider somehow.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. He is the Republican Party and yet is an outsider
Yeah.
somehow. Like, those things don't match, but because of marketing, he was able to market himself a certain way, and that's just how people see it.
Yeah, despite obvious discord, it is still the reality that MAGA lives.
Mm-hmm. And I think you can see this we could go through almost anything in the world, and I think you could see that the way someone markets themselves makes a big difference. But, look, seeing the time,
yeah,
I think we're going to have to move on to
Let's move on.
Final segment, which is Producer Emerson. What is our fun topic to end the show?
Which of the two do you want to go with?
Ooh, A or B, Cameron? What are you feeling?
I mean, one of them's short. We can do both.
We should probably do.
Let's do the shorter one. Just
Okay. So, just to get to know you two before you inevitably go away and we bring others on. If you were a quark, would you describe yourself as an up quark, a down quark, a charm quark, a strange quark, or a top quark or bottom quark?
Oh,
Are you talking about an atomic quark?
Yes, I'm talking about quarks.
Okay.
Okay. I feel like
If you
I
need
have
more-
no idea what I'm doing here. Do you have an answer?
I have no answer. I have no prepared thoughts. I don't
Oh.
even know what half of that means.
No, I have no idea either.
Can we hear what the other one is?
What?
Let's hear the other
the
one.
other topic. Most socialist soda. And
Oh.
why is it
Dr. Pepper.
It's Dr. Pepper. It's Dr. Pepper, and I can explain this. Okay. So, what is the most ideal socialist reality?
I would say the most ideal socialist reality is the freedom to be whatever you want to be.
Exactly. And to do this in a community. I was the cool point you were
Oh,
making,
the
but I'm trying to
community.
get to
Yeah,
community.
yes, yes.
And the idea of a Dr. Pepper, the brilliance of a Dr. Pepper, comes in the form of the fact that there are not one, not two, but 23 separate flavors that work harmoniously to create the perfect drink.
Okay.
And that is like an encapsulation of precisely what socialism is. It is every individual being themselves, working to create a more perfect whole.
Cameron, I have one question for you, which is, do you think that the Trump administration is going to ban Dr. Pepper because it is too DEI due to it having 23 flavors?
If they do, they can pry it out of my cold, dead hands.
Be honest, do you think it is more likely that there would be a revolution over Trump assassinating Chuck Schumer or getting rid of
I think getting rid of Dr. Pepper. I think getting rid of Dr. Pepper might actually cause Texas to try to secede again, because that is integral to the cultural fabric of Texas. It is more valuable than oil, bar nothing. Most important thing that exists in Texas. I would personally lead a fucking Wisconsin regiment of pro Dr. Pepper guerrillas, and I'm no reservations about that at all. Zero.
Okay, I do want to try to answer the first question. Can you just go through the options again real quick?
Yeah.
The 6 quirk options are up, down, strange, charm, top, and bottom.
Which one is most similar to Dr. Pepper?
Charm.
Sure, we'll go with that.
I'm enchanted.
Okay, then I'm Charm.
I'm gonna pick a bottom quirk. No explanation needed.
And
Yeah.
and I think that's a great way to end the podcast.
Phenomenal way. Are you a top or a bottom with those two options? Of quirk, quirk, of course.
Of course. I mean, I think some days I'm a top and some days I'm a bottom. I think you got to be willing, depending on the environment, your quirk has to change, you know.
That is true. Depending on the relations of other quirks that you'd like to you, I think it shifts.
Yeah. And then wait. The other ones was what? Straight?
Strange.
Oh, strange.
Straight quirk? Nah.
No, I
that's
thought strange. Okay.
is there a bi quirk?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
All quirks are bi. It's my belief.
So true.
All quirks are a little bit bi.
All right. Thank you for joining us on this first YDSA podcast. That was those were both great topics.
Those are fun. I like
from
that.
producer
I
Emerson.
like that.
Yeah, I think this has been a pretty good podcast, I think. No matter how bad we are as hosts.
Awful.
Yeah, we're
Truly
terrible.
atrocious.
Yeah. Like I said, hopefully next week or next 2 weeks. Next episode.
That's a good
Yeah,
call. Good
next
call.
episode. We will have for
Let's
you.
not rush it. Let's not overextend
You're right.
ourselves.
Let's not overextend. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Hopefully we
We're
can
important
get you
fellas.
guys some more interesting, more thoughtful, and just more entertaining hosts next week.
Yeah.
We fingers crossed, the co-chairs. Fingers crossed. I'm calling them out right now. Do the podcast.
It'd be fun. It'd be really awesome.
But yeah, otherwise, this is Ian
This is Cameron.
signing off.